Yes.
Not seeing any live signal yet.
That's live.
It's live at this moment.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Okay, so welcome everybody, both council, staff, and the general public to the Town of Lake Cowichan regular council meeting Tuesday, April 27th, 2021 at 6:01 p.m. now. And this meeting is being held electronically via Zoom and live broadcast on YouTube at the Lake Cowichan, BC, as per the Ministerial Order M192. So thank you very much once again. Before we call this meeting to order, I'd just like to acknowledge that these meetings are taking place on the traditional territory of the Subosset. That's people of the lake, our First Nations neighbors who we are happy to live, work, and play on their unceded territory. So with that, I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask any members of council or staff if there are any addition of late items. And because there's going to be a little bit of overcrowding on the screen of the iPad, if you could please speak up if I miss your hands. Mr. Fernandez, please unmute.
Yes, indeed. There is an in-camera addition dealing with land matters under section 91I or L, 91E, sorry.
Okay, thank you very much. If that's the only addition, then I'll look for a motion to approve this agenda with the addition.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Councillor Austin, seconded by. Looking for another hand. Councillor Sandhu, thank you very much. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you very much. The motion's carried. So next we need to do adoption of minutes. So looking for a motion to adopt the minutes of the public hearing held on March 23rd, 2021. Moved by Councillor Sandhu, seconded by Councillor McGonigal. Thank you very much. Any further discussion on that? All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion carried. Thank you so much. That means we'll go to the minutes of the regular meeting of council held on March 23rd, 2021. Moved by Councillor Sandhu, seconded by Councillor Austin. Thank you very much. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion carried. Thank you so much. Okay, moving along to number 4, business arising and unfinished business. We have none tonight. And that means we can move along to delegations if we're ready. And we have Jocelyn Lundberg, I believe, waiting. And as per usual in past, we have 7 Lady of the Lake candidates who will come on and introduce themselves tonight. And we'll let Miss Lundberg introduce them as soon as she comes on.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Jocelyn.
I think we're just waiting for a couple of our girls. I'm just trying to do a quick scan of the screens here and see who we have. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we are just missing one of our gals here, but I'll get started. Well, and hopefully she won't be too much longer. So thank you, Mayor Day and council members for having us here this evening. We're very excited to be here. Just to tell you a little bit about the program. It's been a while since we've been in the community, so we're very excited to be back. And of course, I want to introduce you to the lovely ladies who will be participating and who have been participating so far this year. So as you know, the past couple of years have been a bit of a challenge for us. We haven't actually ran a program since 2018. And this was mostly due to the fact that we were just having troubles with candidate recruitment. Unfortunately, this is a challenge that many of the ambassador programs throughout the province are having right now. Just a sign of the times, things are changing. Demographics are changing. So we had to get a little bit creative. We did a couple focus groups with the youth of the community, going down to girls as young as grade 9, just to see, what was the messaging that they were getting about the program, and what did they want to see? What were some potential barriers to participation? So we got a lot of really great information out of those focus groups. And of course, this year we are very lucky to have 7 wonderful ladies who stepped forward and sorry, I hit mute there. But then, of course, we had all these lovely candidates, and we were then again met with the challenge of COVID-19, just like everybody else. So we had to get a little bit creative and see how we were still going to run a program that had a lot of the same elements, a lot of the same workshops and skill building opportunities as the years passed, because as we found out from our focus groups, those are the things that our candidates really valued. So we did adopt a virtual platform, which we've been running since early March, and it's been very successful so far. The girls have all done a really great job of adapting to this new way of doing things. I'm sure many of you too. It's a little bit of a challenge to go on Zoom meetings. You don't get to really feed off of your audience and develop a lot of those skills, but it's also been a great opportunity for them because they've been able to develop a new set of skills. So we've been meeting since early March, once weekly, sometimes twice. We have our lovely Toastmasters representative, Karen Armstrong. So she's been working with the girls to really help them brush up on their public speaking skills. We also have had a lot of different guest presenters come in. So we've had some workshops on resume building. We have upcoming workshops on interview skills, health and wellness. And because of the shift to the online platform, as well as just knowing that there's a need for some more education and information sharing in regards to youth mental health, the girls actually participated in a program called Bounce Back, which is a skill building program that was developed by the Canadian Mental Health Association. So that was one of the first things that they did in the program back in March. Just to kind of set them up for the next couple months. We recognize that time management can become a challenge for some of the girls. A lot of the stresses from COVID and extracurriculars and managing work and school, it can feel like it's a lot. So the girls all went through that program, and we got some really great feedback on how that was. And it's definitely an element that we're going to keep in the program. So we're really glad that we added that. In regards to other activities, we've had a couple fundraisers that the girls have all been active in. So we're hosting a bottle drive in the middle of May. We also have a raffle that we're going to be starting to sell tickets for in about a week and a half, with some really great prizes that have all been donated by members of the community and by local businesses. So there's going to be some fantastic prizes that the girls will be selling tickets for. And just as always, we're so grateful for the support of the town, for our program sponsors, and for the community, particularly because we have had these kind of off years. We were a little bit worried that, maybe support would waver, but that certainly wasn't the case. So we're really happy that we were able to come back strong and really make this a beneficial experience for the girls, particularly in a year where there was the potential for us to be impacted financially just due to the fact that we couldn't host some of those public events, which a lot of our revenue is generated from. So we're just so pleased with how things are going. And I'm not going to talk all night. I would love to introduce you to the girls. So I will have them kind of step forward and they can tell you a little bit about who they are and who they're representing.
Thank you very much, Jocelyn. So council, this is obviously going to go a little bit beyond 10 minutes. So in order to stick with policy, just a nod of heads if it's okay with you all, that we move along and let the girls all do what they want to do tonight. So thank you very much. And Jocelyn, I'll ask you to call upon each individual one at a time so that we know that nobody gets missed. And I will cross them off the list as well to double check.
Okay,
And,
so they're
thank
gonna
you.
tell you their name, so I'll just more so go by their candidate numbers. So we'll start with candidate number 1.
Hi, good evening, Mayor Day and Town Council members. I'm Riley Thomas, and I'm representing the First West Island Savings with Roxanne Garnett, my sponsor representative.
Thank you.
And candidate number 2.
Hi everyone, I'm Megan Rowbottom. My sponsor representative is Cindy Cook, and I'm sponsored by the Royal Canadian Legion, branch number 210.
Thank you very much.
Candidate number 3.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Chloe Bloom. My sponsor representative is Pat Weaver, and my sponsor is the Benevolent and Protective Order of the Elks, lodge number 293.
Thank you, Chloe.
And candidate number 4.
Hello, I'm Josephine McPhee. My sponsor is the Couch and Lake Lions, and my sponsor representative is Lorna, but please feel free to call me JoJo.
Thank you, Josephine.
And candidate number 5.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chandra Primble. My sponsor is Ed's Coffee House, and my sponsor representative is Ed.
Thank you very much.
And candidate number 6.
Hello, everyone. My name is Macy Anderson. I'm sponsored by the Lake Couch and Kin, and my sponsor representatives are Kate Hernick and Dana Newford.
Thank you very much.
And our final candidate number 7.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mariah Siggy, and I'm honored to be sponsored by A&W with the help of my wonderful sponsor representative, Amber Batty. And on behalf of my fellow candidates and I, we would all like to thank you for providing us with this opportunity and welcoming us this evening.
Thank you very much. So, councillors, as in days gone by, I seem to remember everybody getting a chance to offer their well wishes to the candidates. So if we could go through from each and every councillor and have you offer whatever words of encouragement you can offer. So I'll start with the order on my screen. Councillor McGonigal.
Thank you very much and welcome, ladies. Nice to see you, at least virtually. I've been watching the candidates come and go and give their initial speeches in person at council chambers in the past. I think this is a little less invasive for you. A lot of the girls in the past were very nervous and speaking in public. So this is a great run-in to get you prepared for your public speaking. I just want to thank you all for putting your names forward. And to you, Ms. Lundberg, as an alumni, I know how valuable you know this program is. And we thank you all for putting your name forward as an ambassador for Lake Cowichan. Good luck to you all.
Thank you, Councillor McGonigal. Councillor Austin.
Thank you, Mayor Day. I'd like to congratulate you all for running. It's great to see this. It's been, what, 3 years, 2 or 3 years since we've had this. You're going to have a great learning experience, and I wish you all well. And I thank Jocelyn for getting this up and running, and best of luck. And hopefully, I have a lot of bottles I was just going to take somewhere else, so I'll save them and let us know where to drop them off, and probably buy some raffle tickets as well. So best of luck to you.
Thank you, Councillor Austin. Councillor Womaka.
Sorry, I thought being a V, I'd be at the end of the list. So I think this is about the, JoJo would be about the 8th girl that I've sponsored from Lady of the Lake since my daughter ran. Once I got to be the parent and the sponsor, I got to see what tremendous growth that you girls will have. Not only just in what you're going to learn, but also the connection that's going to bring all 7 of you together. And I really thought that was of great value. Also wanted to say that I think after just meeting all of you, because, you know, I've met many of you, you all are tremendous ambassadors for Lake Cowichan on your own and all together. So I'm looking forward to seeing you not only virtually, but you know, out in the community. Hopefully we'll get there. And I'd like to also extend once again to Jocelyn, congratulations on bringing the BC Ambassador Program to Lake Cowichan. That's huge in our community. And I know so many of the alumni are absolutely thrilled that it's going to be here in our community. And I think it'll be valuable for all of these young ladies, not only this year, but going forward, to be able to see what opportunities that they can get from this program. So I'm really excited to see the growth in all of you. And we'll see in June. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Vomaka. So Councillor Sandhu.
Thank you. I just find, I know a few of these girls, and I just remember when they were young little girls, some on the ice, some doing different things. And I can't believe you're here before me running for Lady of the Lake. So what an awesome experience. And I'm so proud of each of you for putting your name forward. I mean, this honestly isn't something that you'll remember the rest of your life. And I ran in 1985, and I still have my photo album with all my pictures, all my the ball stuff, my sash. I think if I took it out of there, it would fall apart because it wasn't material. It was this yellowy, horrendous material. But what an experience! And I just want to say I'm very proud for each of you and your families for supporting you. It's not just you; it's your family behind you. And Jocelyn, I just want to say thank you for stepping in and taking over the legacy of someone pretty special. And we're very blessed in our community to have you. So thank you. You've got the greatest leader in the world before you girls. And I hope you take every minute to listen to what she's explaining to you and that, because she's an amazing woman. So congratulations.
Thank you very much, Councillor Sandhu. So I could pretty much echo everything I just heard from the councillors. So congratulations all you for stepping up. And as I've said in many times in the past with my involvement with Lake Days and stuff, there will be no losers in this format. So you'll all come out a winner at the other end, and better people and a much more vibrant adult at the end of this process. So congratulations to you all. And once again, yes, Jocelyn, it's amazing to see you breathe some fresh air into this, especially during these difficult COVID times. I don't often say it's difficult. It is challenging. And wow, it looks like you're navigating your way through it, and you're going to put on an awesome program. So that being said, I'll say that normally council supplies a pin for the sashes, and those will be ready at the counter tomorrow. If Jocelyn, just one, you could go in and grab them and distribute them amongst the girls in a safe fashion. Councillor McGonigal.
I just wanted to mention that I had the honor of being appointed as acting mayor in between Mayor Rod Peters and the election of Mayor Day. And in my final acting mayor's report, I channeled Lady of the Lake goodbye speeches. And I hope you can go online and read it, because I am and forever will be your 2020 acting mayor. So thank you for that little insight.
Yeah, good for you for bringing that up. Yeah, that's awesome. So Jocelyn, just for parting thoughts, could you just sort of give us a very brief rundown on how the format's going to play out for the public to view, because we're all used to strawberry teas and things like that, and the ball. And so just give us a little bit of a rundown on what we're going to see building up to June.
Yeah, so in terms of what the public's going to be able to do, we've resurrected our Instagram page and our Facebook page. So we're going to try to keep as on top of that as we can in regards to content, just, what the girls have been doing during their candidate trading period. And then in terms of the actual Lake Days week, sadly, there wasn't the ability to do the strawberry tea. It just didn't work with a virtual format. So there will be no kind of online version of the strawberry tea. But on the Wednesday, we're still going to have opportunity night. It will look a little bit different in terms of what the girls will be doing. So opportunity night, they will actually be delivering their introduction sponsor speeches that they would have traditionally given at the strawberry tea. So it'll be, an opportunity for the public to first meet the girls, and that will be live streamed. We will be posting all the live streaming information on our Facebook page so the public can have access to that. And then for the ball night on the Friday night, it'll be more or less the same. The girls are going to deliver their 3-minute personal speech. So that's on a topic of their choice. And then they will also answer the impromptu question before the judges. So that again will be live streamed for the public to view. And then the crowning, we're still working out a little bit of details for what our crowning is going to look like. Of course, we want to make it as special for the girls as we can, while also being in a COVID-friendly environment. So there's a few logistics we just have to work out in terms of actually performing the crowning and getting the awards to the girls. But regardless of what that looks like, it will still be live streamed as well on the Saturday at 2 o'clock, just like it has been traditionally in years past. So the information again will be released on our Facebook page.
Okay, awesome, Jocelyn. Thank you very much for coming tonight, and thank you very much, girls, for introducing yourselves. I'm sure all of us here will be watching very intently as you move along to that crowning day, and have fun and enjoy the process. Thank you very much, ladies, and have a great night.
Thank you all again for having us here. So girls, you can excuse yourself from the meeting now.
Or you're welcome to stay. There's 3 hours more entertainment here.
Are we welcome to stay? Thank you all. Have a good night.
We are live on YouTube. If you go to Town Lake Couch and YouTube channel, you can.
Oh, wonderful. Good to know. Thank you.
All right. That was awesome. Wish we could do something like that every meeting. So for now, we'll move on to number 6, verbal comments from the public on subsequent items on this agenda. So you could call in at 250-749-6681 or email your comments to general@lakecouchen.ca. So once again, 250-749-6681 to call in, or email now or anytime through the agenda here at general@lakecouchen.ca. We will recess for 3 minutes and see you back here at 6:25.
Okay.
Okay. 6:25.
Okay.
On the phone, chatting. Is that my phone, right?
No, it's Jazz's. Just going.
All right, is everybody here? Okay, Mr. Fernandez, any takers on verbal comments?
None at all.
All right. Okay, thank you so much. That means we can move along now to number 7. That's correspondence action items. The first one on the list is Anil Arora, Chief Statistician of Canada, Statistics Canada regarding Census 2021. Now there's an introductory letter addressed to the mayor, but it also has a resolution for council to consider in this letter. Mr. Fernandez, any comments?
No, other than what's it's self-explanatory, really. It's up to council how they want to deal with it.
Councilors, any hands up for discussion on this letter? Councilor Sandhu.
Just a question through to the CAO. Will this link go on our website for people to be able to actually do the questionnaire online? Like, are they allowing municipalities to
do that? I'll check on that and see if that's the case. Then we can link it to a website.
Okay.
Councilor Austin.
I just wanted to mention, I did the census a couple of times. I walked around and did it all. It's very important. People need to know that we really need people to fill this out. You know, we get grants and different things and funds for the community on the basis of some of the things that are filled out, like homeless issues or anything like that, or poverty issues or just general. So it's really important for people to do it, and please make sure everybody tries to do it. I think they're making it a bit easier now. Sometimes you get that really big long form, and maybe if 1 in every 5 would get it. So whether they're still going to do that, I'm not sure, but it's worth filling out.
All right, just gonna look across the screen here, make sure I don't miss anybody. So just encourage, Councilor Vomaka, go ahead.
Thank you. In that letter, there is a link for a toolkit, community supporter toolkit. So the link will provide you with posters to put up at your office, different buildings, and includes banners for your website, etc. So maybe that might be something to pass on to staff.
All right, Councilor McGonigal.
Well, there is a resolution there, and I would move that Council of the Town of Lake Cowichan supports the 2021 census, and we encourage all residents to complete their census questionnaire online at www.census.gc.ca. I will move that.
Moved and seconded by Councilor Vomaka.
And if I may, Mayor
yes,
Day, I think as Councillor Austin stated, it's very important that we get as accurate and as full information as possible. It's dependent on grants from senior levels of government as to population, demographics, median income, etc. So very, very important to have these filled out. You'll remember the last one was 2016. So there is some dated information that we are currently utilizing. It's very important that we have updated 2021 numbers. So please encourage everyone to fill theirs out.
Yes, and I'll be having conversations with staff on a regular basis to make sure we're doing our part on our website and social media as well. So that's good stuff. And yeah, I echo the same comments as Councilor McGonigal. So the motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, item number 2 was Councillor Tim McGonigal regarding COVID grant letter of support, and I emailed out a subsequent letter from Mayor Sebring of North Cowichan today to show you all that the North Cowichan Council did approve a motion to be the sponsor. I don't know what's the best way to word that, the sponsor municipality for the joint application. So hope you all had a chance to see that. All right, so not quite sure what the original motion said word for word, but
your
Mr.
worship.
Fernandez, yep.
Yeah, you may want to rescind motion 9039/21, because that was the motion that council gave approval to the regional district to undertake the application on our behalf.
Okay, so councilors, you heard the CEO. We need to rescind, if we're going to move forward with a new motion, we need to rescind motion number 9039/21 that provided a letter of support to the CBRD for support of that grant application. So moved by Councillor Sandu, second by Councillor McGonigal. Thank you very much. Any further discussion before we call the vote? All those in favor? Opposed? See none, motion carries. Mr. Fernandez, the suggested new motion could read such.
I could read it, yes. That the town of Lake Cowichan approve the submission of an application by the District of North Cowichan to the Union of BC Municipalities Strengthening Communities Fund 2021, and that the town of Lake Cowichan approve the District of North Cowichan as the primary applicant that will apply for and receive and manage the grant funding on its behalf.
It's a suggested motion, then moved by Councillor McGonigal, seconded by Councillor Bomaka. Thank you. Sorry, Councillor Bomaka, you're off my screen. Councillor Austin, you have a question or comment?
It's a comment rather than a question. I just want to know if this grant if we have to build these sleeping units, is it incumbent on that? I know we need the services for the people, the families, and the people that are here now. There's no data to back up the facts that we have actual homeless here that I can find, and I've been kind of checking things out. There are a couple. I really don't like the idea of them saying they will build 8 homeless or sleeping shelters here when there's no data to back that up, that we have 8 homeless people here. I really think this is not a good plan. I do support the services. We need them for the families and children and some of the people I've met over the last little while I've been volunteering at community services. You know, middle-aged people, seniors, and that we do need the services. So as long as it isn't the kind of a grant that says we have to build sleeping centers for homeless in order to get the services, then I will go along with it. Otherwise, I'm opposed.
Councillor Sandu.
I do echo Councillor Austin's concerns, and I'm just wondering the process, like if we do approve this in support and this grant is approved, it follows in the grant application, it clearly states for 8 of these warming facilities to come to Lake Cowichan. That was part of the grant application. Is that correct? And having said that, do we have to have public consultation when we're looking to implement something like this into the community?
Mr. Fernandez, do you have anything that can refresh our memories on the?
Yeah, I think the intent is to make the application regional wide, and at the end of the day, it's obvious that council will have input on the details of it. So it's going for the funding, and then once the funding is announced, then you would be dealing with the issues at that time, and maybe Councillor McGonigal could add to that.
Councillor McGonigal, please.
Thank you very much, Mayor Day, Mr. Fernandez. You'll remember Mr. Horn's presentation. They
Yes.
were co-sponsors of this. There was just not capacity within the regional district to take this on, given COVID, people working from home, and then, of course, the water escapement that they had within the building. The building will be down for 4 months. So it was broached that perhaps one of the municipalities could take that on as the lead applicant. with Cowichan Housing Association still involved. I think the major portion of the grant is the supportive services dollars that comes with that. Those are very much needed within our community. Lady Smith is also involved in that portion of the grant application. So we will see where it goes if and when it is approved. There will be input from this council as to the placement or lack of placement of those warming cabins, I'm sure. And public consultation, I'm sure, will be involved in that as well. But just the initial process is the municipality of North Cowichan taking the lead as opposed to the CBRD.
Yes, thank you very much. And I would definitely advocate for a tremendous amount of community consultation before we accepted any number of sleeping units. And this has been a topic that we haven't broached as a community. So we would definitely have to reach out and talk to the specific agencies involved and also talk to the public. So. All right, any more discussion? So I'll call the question then on that motion. All those in favor? Opposed? I don't see any. That motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, so I think we can move along now to reports. And the first report is Council and Committee reports. That's the Finance and Administration meeting of April 13th, 2021. Councilor McGonigal.
Thank you, Mayor Day. I would like to move the minutes of the Finance Administration Committee meeting, which was held electronically on Tuesday, April 13th, 2021, with the following recommendations. That the committee recommend that the request by Jane Ingram for designation of Pally's Place landmark be approved, subject to the cost and installation of the dedication markers being borne entirely by the applicant. Also, that the committee recommend approval of the Lake Cowichan Fire Department incident report in the amount of $9,157.58 for the month of February 2021 be approved. That the committee recommend approval of the Lake Cowichan Fire Department's incident report in the amount of $9,320.68 for March 2021, that be approved as well. And with those, I will move those minutes.
Okay, second by Councillor Austin. Any discussion on those minutes? Seeing no hands, I'll call the question. All those in favor and opposed? And that motion carries. Thank you very much. That moves us along to Public Works and Environmental Services from April 20th, 2021. Councillor Bomaka.
Thank you. I'd like to move the minutes of the Public Works and Environmental Services Committee meeting held electronically on April the 20th of 2021 with one addition, please. And that is in section 3B, ongoing items still being addressed. The very last paragraph regarding parking is the committee directed that the matter be referred back to staff to work with the two proponents. And it was also supposed to say, and come back with a report to council. So with that addition, I will move that the minutes.
Can I have looking for a seconder for those minutes with that amendment? Second by Councillor Sandhu. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, the motion carries. Thank you. That means we can move to Parks and Recreation and Culture from April 20th, and that is Councillor Austin, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to move the minutes of Parks, Recreation and Culture Committee held electronically at Lake Cowichan, BC on Tuesday, April 20th, 21 as presented.
Okay. Have a seconder, please. Councillor McGonigal, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? See none, motion carries. Thank you so much. All right, the minutes is the Sustainable Planning Committee meeting held on April 13th, 2021. I will defer those minutes to Councillor Austin to make the motion. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to move the minutes of the Strategic Planning Committee meeting held electronically in Lake Cowichan, BC on Tuesday, April 13th with the following recommendation under 7A. That the committee recommend that the matter of the Standing Committee for Tourism and Housing be tabled pending approval of the town's strategic plan.
All right, looking for a seconder, please. On those.
There is one more.
Oops, sorry.
That the committee close the meeting to the public to deal with issues relating proposed provision of the municipal service. Sorry, that was an in camera. Sorry.
All right, so the motion to approve those minutes with the recommendation. Moved by second by Councilor Vomaca. Sorry. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Cowichan Lake Recreation Commission, there was no meeting this past month, so we'll have a report next month if there is a meeting. Move along to Vancouver Island Regional Library, Councilor Vomaca.
Thank you. No meeting, but a few things that are going on here at our public library. They're still only open Tuesdays from 2 to 4 and again from 6 to 7. So it looks like they're roughly open for 3 hours a day. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they're open 10 to 11 and again from 2 to 4. And then of course closed Sundays and Mondays. So for the continuation of the rest of the month, on Thursday, April the 29th, on Zoom from 7 until 8 at night, they have Mindful Belly Moves, which is relaxing and rejuvenating movement workshop, combining yoga, meditation, and belly dance moves, and it's free. They have a Sea and Cedar magazine, which is new. It's going to be a digital publication ongoing. So they're putting out a call for submissions of short fiction, creative nonfiction, poetry, and artwork for their first issue of their new digital publication. May the 15th is the deadline. On April the 30th from 10:30 till 10:45. It's not very long, but it's songs, stories, finger play, and puppets every Monday and Friday, and you can access that on the Storytime Corner Facebook group for the little ones. And this one, I think Councillor Austin will like. They have Baby Time Animal Sound. And one of them coming up is called Chicken in the Backyard.
Oh, that's for me.
Oh, absolutely. So lots of interesting things that they're putting on either online or through Zoom. So you don't have to be in the library to participate. They have lots of stuff going on every day in our local area. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilor Vomaca. That's good to know the library is still up and running in some sort of fashion and providing services to the community. So they're doing a good job. So that means we can move along now to the Planning Commission. Councilor Austin, please.
Thank you. Our Zoom meeting was held Thursday, April 22nd at 4 p.m. Correspondence received from Lynn Klein regarding his resignation from the APC, and Mr. Fernandez will advertise on the website for another board member. The contract planner presented a memo regarding updating subdivision works and services bylaw, also that the sign bylaw needs amending regarding residential land uses. The contract planner also presented sketches of various road designs with different widths, with 1 or 2 sidewalks of different widths. Our OCP does not have these sketches included, and they are important. And I did measure the sidewalks near my house. The older ones on Boundary were 48 inches, or I got the centimeter somewhere. And the new ones in the new subdivision are 60. So they're wider, quite a bit wider. Discussions ensued, and the board asked for direction to staff to bring them back to the APC board with more information and recommendations. Our next meeting will be Thursday, May 27th at 4 p.m.
Thank you very much. Councillor Austin, any questions for Councillor Austin? No? Okay, we'll move along to the Community Forest Co-op. Councillor McGonigal.
Thank you, Mayor Day. Unfortunately, with the public health orders in place during the past year, we have been unable to meet in person as a board of the whole. The executive committee has met a couple of times to discuss some items, but as a board, we have not been able to meet given the public health orders that Dr. Henry has given. We are an aged group, some of us longer in the tooth than others, and there is some angst amongst some of the aged members that we should not be meeting in person until the majority of people have been immunized, and we will stay that course until that does take place. We are working on a few things in the background, and hopefully we'll have an announcement coming up soon. But at this time, I cannot divulge much more than that. We are still here. The Forest Co-op Board is still currently in partnership with Pachidat in the Kalayat agreement. And we look forward to harvesting this coming year. Also with BC Timber Sales as a third partner. You'll remember that when that was announced, that was a landmark decision to include BC Timber Sales with the new Forest Co-op agreement, Kalayat agreement. So at that time, when logging does occur, I will bring you an update as to volumes and disbursement of funds, etc. And with that, I hope we can all get immunized. Mine's May 7th. Looking forward to the Microsoft chip. You can all follow me on your app and you'll know exactly where I am. But I think when we do have herd immunity, then we will be able to go back to some sort of semblance of normalcy. I do look forward to that. So watch for me on your app.
Okay. We'll see where you show up. Okay, thank you very much, Councillor McGonigal, and I'll be happy when the Forest Co-op can meet again and get on, because I know they're quite the group and they like to do good work. So just a reminder, Councillor Austin, if you could mute your microphone when you're not speaking. Just small noises interrupt the speakers, so that's all. And your turn will be next after Councillor McGonigal's Cowichan Valley Regional District meeting. Councillor McGonigal.
Thank you very much, Mayor Day. We have another session tomorrow, hospital board and regular board beginning at 9:30. But from April 14th board meeting, there was a discussion on the Housing Association, UBCM Strengthening Communities Services Fund, which we just endorsed North Cowichan going forward. And that was with discussion on capacity and lack of facilities currently being afforded. The CVRD is currently doing their front of house operations from the Cowichan Community Center for approximately 4 months. So all 3 floors have been impacted by the water escapement. It's not a water leak, as Mayor Day knows. The new lingo is water escapement. That way, it's not your fault. But there is lots of mitigation going on. 70% of all walls have been impacted, not the whole wall, but a portion of them. So 2 feet on the floors have been removed, drywall, and there's drying out, etc. So quite the extent of damage. Also, there was some appointments to various APCs that was brought forward in that meeting. Kerry Park budget amendments to move money around. Seeing how the budget has been approved, it had to come forward as an amendment to the budget. Economic Development Division, with the change in the scope of Rural Business and Community Recovery Program, there was some information provided for that as well. There was recommendations from the Regional Services Committee, and one, the Cowichan Watershed Board proposal be accepted as meeting the requirements of a strategic partnership under the DWWP partnership policy. So that's the partnership policy within the environmental services of the Cowichan Valley Regional District. And it's for a 3-year period for an annual rate of $50,000. So I think that gives some clarity as to the funding opportunities for the next 3 years for a very important board that does very good work. There was also a partnership agreement with Cowichan Watershed Board for the implementation of the activities. And that staff prepare a report on the regional growth strategy acceptance process for the next Regional Services Committee meeting. Grant application for $70,000 to Island Coastal Economic Trust and Economic Recovery. Also that a 5-year municipal type service agreement with Penalaket Tribe for solid waste disposal be approved. That's a great partnership too. And that the Siddoo, SIDDOO, Regional Park Site Management Plan be approved. That was a donation in the Cook Isla watershed to Parks, the Regional Parks Program. And if you ever get a chance, there's not going to be much development within there. It's going to stay within nature's course. If you get a chance, go down and have a look. It's a beautiful area. And also there was some work to be done between staff at the Regional District of Nanaimo on some growth strategy amendments that are within the regional district and some of the impacts it has on outlying areas within the regional district. I had to remove myself from some discussion on the Housing Trust Fund for the Elder Care Society. And I see in the notes that $175,000 was allocated from the Cowichan Valley Regional District Housing Trust Fund for the proposed Cowichan Lake Elder Care Society development. So that was awarded in my absence, but I do see it on my notes. So no pecuniary interest, but we did remove ourselves. Also some grants and aid from electoral area directors that were being given as well. Soil deposit bylaw is a work in progress, and there are a number of applications that have come forward, and they are always public interest within the areas that they are permitted. The largest thing that is encumbering is that any of these applications that fit the criteria must be approved within the bylaw. You'll note that CBRD did try to limit the deposit of contaminated soils in the original bylaw, which was sent back by the province because that oversteps the bounds of regional and municipal government policy that resides within the Department of Environment. Also, some permits, development permits, which reside basically within electoral area directed discussion. So with that, those are my reports. And tomorrow again, starting at 9:30, follow along on WebEx. It should be not a very long meeting, I hope. Thank you, Mayor Day.
Thank you, Councilor McGonigal. Any questions for Councilor McGonigal on the report from the regional district? Lots of information covered there. All right. So that means we can move along to Community Outreach Team Committee. Councilor Austin.
Thank you again, Your Worship. The community outreach team met by Zoom on Thursday, April 15th at 10 a.m. Rosalie Sowry gave the social planning presentation on the Moving On Up Poverty Reduction Working Group. Lots of work still to do, and we will be having another open meeting soon. We need to know how best to promote engagement within the community. That is the one thing that the group is working on. Adrienne Bourgeois, community service counselor, reported that the food market is now Wednesdays and Fridays. That's fresh vegetables and things like that from the different grocery stores and restaurants, and food brought in, frozen meals and things from the green community. So the freezers are getting nicely stocked. On the Friday market is basically for seniors because they wanted to do one especially for seniors. A soup kitchen is going well with 2 per week, and they have garnered more funds to keep this going probably for the rest of the year. Work BC is providing wage subsidies for employers again, where they pay a part of the employee's salary for 6 months, I believe. And Ethos has a youth program called Rebel Rise Up to help young people get into business. So that would be interesting. Laurel Crawford from the Ministry of Social Development and Poverty Reduction is in Lake Cowichan on Wednesdays and can provide access to resources and government services for those in need. Housing is the biggest issue, as we all know. Many rental homes have been sold and taken out of the rental market. Supportive housing is coming to Duncan in the near future, but it's not a lot. Linda Sked from Cowichan Lake Recreation reported that several programs in the outdoors are in the works and several summer programs for children have been scheduled. There will be swimming lessons in Arbutus Park this summer. Sherry Livingston was on this time from Subotsat, Subotsat counselor. She reported that Melanie has organized history panels on the North Shore Walkway, and lighting has also been installed. So we might want to look at that. North Shore Estates are going along well. They all got their first vaccines in March, and Chief Georgina has been unwell for some time, and we all sent good wishes to her to feel well again. Carolyn Yabonsky, community health nurse, reported that a nurse practitioner named Stephanie, who actually lives here, will be seeing patients that do not have a doctor assigned to them at the CATSA Health Unit. However, these people must be referred by a doctor from a walk-in clinic. So anybody that's watching or listening to this or knows someone, if you go to a walk-in clinic and tell them you don't have a doctor, they will refer you to Stephanie because she is trying to build up clientele. And that's a really major thing for our community. Carolyn also knows many families that are in need because of the different work with children and families. Some are single parents, some are families with only one parent working. She noted that poverty often comes from the woman staying home for the children and only one salary in the home. There have been 7 babies born this year so far, and immunizations are going well twice a month at Well Baby Clinic. And so far, as of last week, 25% of those eligible on the island have been immunized for COVID. I just quickly mentioned that we were working on our strategic plan and that several subdivisions are ongoing. Also that some have been rezoned with smaller lots, duplexes, etc., and that a duplex is being built by Island Savings, and also that our elder care facility is moving along with grants, etc., and we hope to have charity status soon. It's a great meeting, really good people, lots of good local information. You're muted, Bob.
Darn, I just was praising the heck out of you. So thank you, Councillor Austin, for attending those meetings and reporting back to us, because it's good grassroots information for us to hear back from on the status of especially healthcare in our community. So thanks again. Any questions for Councillor Austin? Don't see any hands. That means we can move along to another couple of very important committees. Our Cowichan Councillor Sandy, please.
Thank you. So there was no meeting in April. Our next meeting is May 13th, 5:30 p.m. by Zoom.
All right. Thank you. So we'll move along to the Cowichan Watershed Board. Councillor Sandu. Yeah. Sit
I
back
have like
and relax.
4 pages of notes, but I brought it down. So yesterday we had a updated presentation from Leroy Van Wieren, the project manager for the Weir. And he explained the preliminary design is complete. The final design is ongoing. Last week, they completed the constructability assessment and preliminary design cost review. The project's footprint environmental assessment started now that the concept is finalized. They looked at the boat lock concrete foundation is in really good shape, but it does not meet the requirements for today's standards, and nor will it increase in elevation. So that will have to be taken down. The weir itself is in pretty good shape. There's a new fish passage on the south by the water gates, the fish gates. They're going to be putting a new fish passage in. They're putting the cold water system on hold, and I'll get to that due to cost. The preliminary cost for the weir is around $17.3 million. The walkway itself, they projected it to be about $3.3 million. So that is still part of the plan, but they're looking for funds for that. The cold water system that they're wanting to implement to take water from the deepest part of the lake by pipe, it would cost about $19 million with favorable lake bed conditions. It would cost approximately $30 million with unfavorable lake bed conditions. So what they're wanting to do is bring cold water from the lake through the fish passage and bring it into the river on the weir side. And what they want to do is control the temperature of the river for the fish that are spawning. Because as climate change is increasing in our temperatures, the river temperatures are not always favorable for fish. So, but this will be a whole other project and planning. The shoreline lake assessment project is on schedule to be completed March 2022. They're currently working on the current natural boundaries, and there's 3 factors that act to determine where the natural boundaries are. The number 1 is the presence of water, number 2, the action of water, and number 3, the character of the shoreline. What does that mean? It's a lot of information, but there's more to come as Leroy is implementing this. The BC Salmon Recovery and Innovation Fund grant that was received was $4.1 million. To date, they've spent $2.9 million, and they've actually returned $1.2 million of this grant. So they completed it in a lot less cost, which, you know, looks really favorably for us in this project. Communication plans, they have a virtual public meeting tentatively set in June of 2021. And this will be to go over the final weir design and the shoreline assessment. And then September or October 2021, they're going to do a public presentation. And this is regarding the preliminary shoreline assessment. So they're working on that right now along the entire lake. And then March, April 2022, there'll be a public presentation to present the final outcome of the shoreline assessment project, present the map view tools and user guides, and then discuss the next steps as to what is going on. So it's amazing how we don't see anything out there right now with the weir, but there's so much behind the scenes going on that we're finally now going to have some public input and that. So I'm really excited for our community to take part in this. And next month at our May Parks meeting, Ken from the Cowichan Lake River Stewardship Society is doing a presentation to the council to talk about the possibility of a kiosk being put in at Saywell Park regarding, so educating the community on the building of this weir. So he's going to be putting into delegation status to us. And I think that's really important that our community is aware of what's going on and for our students, whatnot. I think this would be a great way, an education tool. So anyway, that is in discussion. So our next meeting is in May. And any questions?
Thank you. Any questions for Councillor Sandhu? A lot of information in those meetings to digest and think about and bring forward. And Councillor Sandhu, you are correct that especially the residents of Town Lake Cowichan need to be kept up to date when possible with good information. So I think that's a great plan. We look forward to Ken's presentation, see how that goes. All right. So that's it for reports, folks, for now, except for staff reports. And the first staff report is from the Chief Administrative Officer regarding Local Government Development Approvals Program. Mr. Fernandez, could you
Indeed,
rundown?
Yes, UBCM has announced funding under the Local Government Development Approvals Program. And here's an opportunity for the town to look at fine tuning and improving the subdivision bylaw and the development approval bylaw. And the contract planner and myself spent a fair bit of time going over a number of issues over which we thought we could make improvements. And these were the two bylaws we were looking at. The deadline for the application is May 7th. And we intend to have it in by May 5th if council approves us going forward with the application.
All right, so I'm assuming everybody's had a chance to read the report. There is a resolution. A council resolution supporting the application should read as follows. The council approved the submission of a grant application under the Local Government Development Approvals Program, and that it further provides assurance that it would support all the proposed activities as proposed in the grant application and would commit to the overall proper fiscal management of the grant. So there's a resolution, and there's a remover of that resolution, Councillor Sandhu, seconded by Councillor Austin. Any comments or discussion before I call a vote? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? None, motion is carried. Thank you very much, Mr. Fernandez. And the next report is the housing needs assessment. Mr. Fernandez, could you speak to that for us, please?
Yeah, I can indeed. The contract planner made a presentation at the last strategic planning meeting, and he had some concerns about the correctness of the assessment that was done, and he provided a recommendation at the end of his report. And I think and council was keen to approve that report based on his resolution.
All right, so there is a recommendation at the bottom. First of all, any comments on the report itself? Councillor Sandhu?
I just wondered, I read through this and I just wondered what we can do, like when they were given our information or to correct their misinformation that they weren't going to change this. That's disturbing to me because we know our community, our staff knows our community, and I really struggle with just saying, okay, well, thank you, we're correcting it, but thank you very much. And I just wonder if there's a process where we could, through Councillor McGonigal at the CVRD, where he could have a discussion regarding this, because this does impact our grants applications, so many things. And I just think us just amending it for our benefit for the facts, to me is, we need to be clear from our end that, they're wrong in their data.
All right. Thank you, Councillor Sandhu. Anybody else? Councillor McGonigal, yeah, could you respond to that?
I will yield to our CAO. I think he had some input
Okay.
here first.
Yeah,
Thank you.
if I can, basically, the contract planner had been dealing with the consultant on this very issue. They've gone back and forth. But at the end of the day, the consultant refused to agree with our contract planner. And I think it's kind of sad that we put out something for tender. We agreed to go with the CBRD on this particular project, and our input meant nothing.
Okay, thank you, sir. So now, Councillor McGonigal, and then we'll go back to Councillor Sandhu.
Thank you very much. And you'll remember at that presentation that I specifically asked if this would be a living document, given that the 2021 census was upcoming. I think they had utilized anecdotal numbers and the 2016 census with the input of our contract planner as to a more precise needs assessment. It's unfortunate that they had utilized those numbers throughout the region on that anecdotal avenue. So given that 2021 census is coming, I would hope at that time that it would show a true need for housing as we move forward. Given that, I would most certainly follow your direction and champion the implementation of our planners' input at the regional district at your request. That's my job, and I'm happy to do whatever you direct me to do.
Okay, we'll go to Councillor Sandhu, and then perhaps we'll come up with some suggestions on the way forward. Then go ahead, Councillor Sandhu.
Well, I just, Councillor McGonigal clarified just the question I was going to ask, so thank you.
All right, so I'm just going to put up a couple suggestions here. Mr. Fernandez, you were going to speak?
Yeah, are we going to approve the recommendation at the bottom of that memo?
We're getting there. So if we approve that, well, maybe we could approve that and then discuss a way forward with the Cowichan Valley Regional District then, okay? So the recommendation at the bottom of the page, that council adopts the following resolution: that council of the town of Lake Cowichan receives the housing needs assessment of January 2021 prepared by the Cowichan Valley Regional District as amended by a report prepared by the town planning department in a memorandum dated March 16th, 2021. A mover, please. There's a hand somewhere. Councillor Austin, seconded by, sorry, was there another hand? Councillor Wamaka, there you are. You guys are all over my screen, so I gotta find everybody. Any further discussion at this point? Then I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? I see none. Motion carried. Now, so a way forward for Councillor McGonigal. What do you see? I would personally, I would love to see you take this back to the regional district and show them that the council has unanimously adopted this resolution, and see where that conversation goes. Is that a good way forward in your mind?
Absolutely. If I may, Mayor Day, unfortunately, it will not be at tomorrow's meeting.
Yeah.
I most certainly will bring this forward at agenda prep on Thursday next, as perhaps input from the town of Lake Cowichan's housing needs assessment update. And given that, whether or not we could forward that to the planning department of the regional district for those amendments as provided by our planner. I can't promise anything as to whether it will get on the agenda, but at least it will float to the top that there are some concerns with those numbers.
Would you prefer that in a formal motion, or just
I think just direction. I think I understand where my colleagues would like this to go, and I certainly will follow through.
Yeah. I see some nodding, a lot of nodding of heads on that. So we'll leave that in your capable hands, and a good call on putting it on an actual agenda. Gets everybody thinking about it. All right. All right, we have one more staff report, and it's an application for development permit for 178 River Road, Lot A, Plan 29742, accept Plan VIP 80293. Mr. Fernandez.
Yes, Your Worship, I've got the owners of the property ready to be admitted, so shall I let them in?
Go right ahead. So I see the name on the screen with no picture is Kathy Whitehead. Now, so councillors, are there any questions for Kathy?
Well, maybe Your Worship, maybe I can speak to it first.
Oh, go ahead, yeah.
Okay, the owners of the property, Lot A, Plan 29742, are in the process of subdividing that property into 3 lots. When development's triggered, they're required to follow the requirements of our zoning and the official community plan. It just happens that the land in question falls under 2 development permit areas. One is the riparian area, and the other one is the hazard lands area. So they have done a fair bit of work on this, and as you can see from the report submitted by the contract planner and with my comments at the bottom, that the approval can be made subject to those conditions. But in the meantime, I think we could hear the applicants out.
Okay, Ms. Whitehead, would you care to speak to your application?
I think Christopher's on as well, but we did.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, anyways, we did, we have had Madrone do an extensive geotech and stormwater management. And I think we've met everything in the PLA to date. And we've spoken with the civil engineer today and the surveyor. So we're really just waiting to see how council feels about development permit and if we're able to proceed. And I believe Christopher's on as well.
Christopher, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me or see me? There we go.
There you are.
Yeah.
We got you.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, Chris. So anything you'd like to say about the proposal?
I just came on, so I don't know if you guys have been talking about anything prior to this or anything, but
no, it's just been introduced and we've heard from Kathy. So I'll give you a second here to.
Yeah, I mean, basically, we've just done everything that's been required and asked in the PLA so far, and just, yeah, hoping to get the development permit through and carry on with the project. Just waiting to hear what you guys have to say about it.
Okay, councillors, any comments or questions you'd like to propose? Councillor McGonigal?
I'm going to go through you to our CAO. On a similar application previously, there was talk of siltation remediation in that development. Would
Yes.
that be required in this as well?
Well, we've indicated that there has to be no build areas on that property. And so there are conditions that have been placed on it. So we just have to make sure that the landscaping and everything else on it is taken care of. So I don't think the silting is an issue. It's just the drainage more than anything else.
Because I do note that in the water course, it is not a fish bearing stream. It's
Right.
not class 3 or 4 fish bearing stream, etc. So it's just the riparian management area within that. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Thank you very much.
Any other hands from councillors? Okay, well, I just have some comments. I noticed the amount of conditions in this report, and I'm happy to hear that you folks are moving ahead to satisfy all those conditions. I just would like to mention that I've seen a few of these reports in the past, and there seem to be some folks that have not been able to meet all the things that are on the paper. So I just encourage you to pay close attention, and those doing the work to ask them to pay close attention to what's going on here as well, because it just creates a lot less headaches in the long run if things are done right. And as once was said to me, it's really hard to develop in Lake Cowichan without doing work around streams and underground streams and things like that, and controlling the silt, especially during construction and after construction, making sure everything's safe for many, many years to come. So, and doesn't cause any flooding downhill and all that kind of stuff. So thank you very much for following the process so far. And Mr. Fernandez, next step.
The next step is for council to approve it subject to the conditions. And I believe the both Chris and Kathy have a copy of the conditions. They've already seen the development permit memo from the contract planner, correct? And so I don't think there's an issue with the conditions laid out. And I've just added a couple basically at the end, and I don't think they should have any problems meeting those conditions.
So
I would
councilors,
move approval, Mayor Day, with the conditions noted in the report.
thank you very much. And looking for a seconder, Councillor Austin. Any further discussion then? All right, call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? I don't see any, so.
Good luck with that, guys.
Yep.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for being here tonight.
Yeah, well, thank you for allowing us to be. It's a big process, but it's a beautiful piece of property. Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, folks. That's that one out of the way now. Then we can move along to bylaws. So we're going to move to A, the Town Lake Cowichan zoning amendment bylaw number 1055, 2021. And this may be read a first and second time. Mr. Fernandez.
Yes, the official community plan was revised and amended in 2019. As a consequence, we have to look at the zoning bylaw because that basically has to be in sync with the OCP. And as a result, we've done some work on it with the APC over the last number of months. And we were hoping to have it done by the end of last year. But there were some delays in terms of making sure that mapping was in place. The APC has approved the zoning bylaw to be forwarded to council. So this is where it's at. And so it's here for first and second readings. There's been changes to the legislation also. There's been changes to the zoning bylaw over the time, and we've made a number of changes. And the council's quite well aware that we've made a series of amendments, and the the Local Government Act has also changed. So we've got to make sure that it meets the requirements of the Local Government Act. So it's here for first and second reading. It's basically, and also we've also looked at making sure that because we've had residential numbers that didn't really make sense. We had R1, R1A, R1B. We've really revamped all of those. And so it's a little bit more understandable, and it's a lot more clearer under the new setting. So this is why you need to look at it, and I hope council has had a chance to review it. And if not, it's here for first and second reading, and we'll go through a public hearing process down the road.
All right. Tremendous amount of work must have gone into this. So thank you very much for staff for getting it to us. And I know I've had a good look through it, and council, anybody wishing to move first and second reading? Sorry, the screen went blank. I didn't see any hands. Moved by Councillor Sandu, seconded by Councillor Vomaca. And any questions before we call the question? All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that motion carries. Thank you very much again, staff, for the fine work on that big bylaw. So we can move along to B, the Town Lake Cowichan Financial Plan, bylaw number 1056, 2021. And this may be read a first, second, and third time, Mr. Fernandez.
Yes,
or Ms.
before
Gill.
the tax rate bylaw can be adopted, council will have to adopt the 5-year plan. And maybe the details of it could be better spelled out by the Director of Finance on this issue.
Thank you, Ms. Gill.
Sure. So this is the bylaw with the current year budget and the next 4 years, and it's here for first, second, and third reading. There was a couple of changes. The tax rates for the school and police tax rates came in late Friday. So those, it's in and out, but those were changed. And the estimate for the small community protection grant came in a little bit higher than what was in there. So that was also changed. Other than that, this bylaw represents the 2021 budget as per budget discussions with council previously. And it's here for first, second, and third reading.
Thank you very much, Ms. Gill. Any questions, councillors? Councillor McGonigal?
I'd just like to move it with thanks to staff and my colleagues for all the hard work getting here.
Yes, thank you very much. And seconded by Councillor Sandu. Now, any questions? Councillor McGonigal.
And just to be clear that even though it is a 5-year plan, that only the first year is actually cemented and been discussed. The projections for the next 4 years will also enact budget discussions when those years come forward and could be changed at the discretion of the body who resides at that time. So it's just a projection of what will occur in the 4 years past the one that will be approved. So again, lots of work and lots of input and lots of expertise from counselors, perhaps. But we appreciate all that you've done to get us here. We'll move forward in the 1 year and see what the next 4 do.
Yeah. So thank you very much as well to staff. I mean, you do manage to get a lot of things done on a shoestring budget, and thanks for everything you do to get us here and acknowledging council's input into the budget. So with that, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that motion carries as well. So that moves us on to C, the Town of Lake Cowichan 2021 Annual Rates Bylaw number 1057, 2021 may be read a first, second, and third time. Mr. Fernandez.
Yes, if you look at the 5-year plan, you would notice that the areas where there are references to tax requisitions, the only way you can raise those amounts of money by approving the tax rates that are listed in the schedule attached to bylaw 1057, 2021. If you don't approve this, we may have to go back to revising the 5-year financial plan. So it's here for first, second, and third reading.
Okay. Looking for a mover, Councillor Sandu, seconded by Councillor Vomaca. And any discussion? Then I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, that motion carries. Thank you very much. So that comes to the end of our bylaws. And we can move along to new business. And item A is the Cowichan Green Community Year in Review. We don't have a presenter here tonight, but the presentation is available on your agenda and can be viewed on YouTube, and I'm sure you already have. And Councillor Sandu, go ahead.
Well, I just want to say I watched the video, and wow, is all I'm going to say is what they do, and it's very inspiring. And I'd like to see if we could put this video on our website. I think it would be nice for our community to see what Cowichan Green community does. And, you know, they're up here also. So it's really important that our residents know that we are part of Cowichan Green community. So.
Mr. Fernandez, is that possible to put a link to that on our website?
Well, it's on the website now on the agendas, but I'm not sure where you want to put it, on Facebook or on our website itself.
Could we do, sorry, could we do a link like just specifically that says this is what it is, the, you know, the Cowichan Green Community Year in Review 2020?
We can do that, sure.
Thank you.
Okay. And it is a public presentation too, so I'd encourage anybody who's really interested in this to share it. I know I will as well on the platforms that I'm on. So yeah, it's, you know, when I was employed through Country Grocer, I saw the food that we were able to give in totes to the green community in their refresh store, and they gleaned the food and made stuff out of stuff that wasn't to be able to be sold. And it's a great program. It was a struggle to get that location to let that food go because there is some liability involved, but they worked it all out, and many other food chains have got on board as well. So a lot of food that is close to date or out of date is able to get out there and get into the hands of people who really need it at a reduced cost or no cost at all. So, and just a reminder, they do put the refresh store with the fresh fruit and vegetables, and I believe it's still at Community Services. Am I right, Councillor Austin? Okay, Councillor Austin, did you have a comment?
Well, I'm just going to say, yes, that's on Wednesdays, and they did have a delivery on Friday last week too. And I saw some friends that I knew from different areas coming and getting a few things, and there was quite a lot there. Potatoes, apples, peppers, asparagus, things. Sure, they, you know, they're a little shop worn, but you can do things with them, and so people appreciate it. They're really being appreciative, and I'm trying to get the word out. And if more people will get the word out, that don't be shy to come and get a few things on Wednesday or Thursday if you're in need. They're there for everybody.
All right. And I would encourage you all, if you're ever downtown Duncan, and maybe not right now in crowds, but just go in and see what they do down at their location. I'm always amazed what they get done on with very little funding and with leveraging it for grants and things like that. Some great people down on the grassroots level doing great things. All right, so it's there. And the next item is the 9th Chief Elected Forum. Pardon me, and I'm sorry for the late notice on this, but I had other plans before the travel restrictions, and at that time I wasn't able to put it forward for possible attendance. So I put it here for this tonight to ask your permission for me to attend this forum, the day and a half forum, or almost 2 days at the end of this week. Or not.
So moved.
Seconded by Councillor Sandu. Any further discussion on that?
Just
Councillor Austin.
Just one question on the 29th. We have the Zoom with the First Nations protocol. Will you be tied up with this during that time? It's 1:33.
That is the time of the day when it becomes social hour and wrapping things up. So I will be able to escape at that point. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Full day on the first day though. And yeah, I won't be missing much near the tail end. So with that, I'll call the question if there's no more questions. All those in favor and opposed? And thank you very much, everybody. I love taking advantage of these learning opportunities, and it's quite the apt title. Councillor McGonigal.
With your indulgence, Mayor Day, and my apologies to my fellow colleagues, I failed to ask for this to be put on the agenda. I think we've all been made aware of the closure of the Royal Bank here in Lake Cowichan. I think it's important that we make a public announcement to that effect, that effective November 4th, the Royal Bank in Lake Cowichan will no longer be providing service, unfortunately. The safe deposit boxes will be moved to the Duncan branch. They are amalgamating with the Duncan branch as of November 4th, will be the last day. We'll all be receiving letters. I got a personal phone call, as did a fellow councillor. Being leaders in the community, we thought it was important that we provide this information. There will be a community information meeting coming up in May of some sort. So that would be the time for any questions or comments. I did voice my concern and my disappointment, but I feel for the small businesses and those that utilize the night deposit box, for instance, those small businesses looking for change, etc. The elderly who may not want to travel or utilize online banking. But this isn't the first bank that has left Lake Cowichan, and hopefully it will be the last one that does. So unfortunately, as of November 4th, we will be down to our credit union. They are looking to place an ATM within the town, a Royal Bank ATM, so at least there will be access to that service. So if you can get the word out to as many as you can, and see what happens from there.
Thank you very much, Councilor McGargle. I think we all got a phone call yesterday too. So just wondering, when you say put out a message, are you speaking of a message from the town council itself or just through our contacts?
I think just through our contacts,
Okay.
For those that may not be aware,
Yeah.
we can discuss what we as a body wish to do moving forward at a later time if you wish. I think there could be some avenue for some political input per se, but that is entirely up to this body. I don't suggest we do that here tonight. I just wanted to make sure that we let everyone know that they will be leaving us, unfortunately.
Yes, it is can be a disappointing scenario when things like this happen. A sign of the times for sure. So thank you for getting that in there for us, and I'm glad that they reached out to more than just myself as well. So yeah, they've got a lot of phone calls to make.
Thank you for your leniency and allowing me to do that.
Okay, so I was able to put forward on paper a mayor's report this month, so I will recite it to you now. So my April's mayor's report. This past month has been a busy month for all members of council and staff. Administration and management have been extremely busy finalizing the draft 5-year financial plan for presentation to council, the public, as we move closer to the May deadline for final reading and adoption. Mayor and council asked staff to produce a 2021 budget with only a 2% increase because of the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and the effect it has had on household incomes over the past year and for the foreseeable future. A 2% tax increase will barely keep up with the cost of inflation providing the services for residents, but staff has managed to produce a well-balanced approach for this fiscal year. In March and April, Mayor and Council Sue Bassett, as well as the CVRD directors for Area F and I, have been participating in the Joint Community to Community Forum to formalize a joint protocol and memorandum of understanding between all 3 jurisdictions that will guide us towards a closer working relationship as neighbors surrounding the lake. As for your mayor and council itself, we have had 2 facilitated sessions to produce, let me get this straight, with the town of Lake Cowichan, to produce a town of Lake Cowichan strategic plan that will guide this council this council and the next to 2026, and will help staff and council stay focused on the core necessity of managing and maintaining services within the municipality that will not only provide for today, but for many years out. The plan has been compiled and ready for review in early May, with a possible adoption and presentation to the public by the end of May. So far, Mayor and Council are very excited at the results of this facilitated process and are eager to implement the plan moving forward. We are well into the spring season, and the whole of staff are busy getting the parks and streetscape in shape for all of us to enjoy and be proud of. As well, our public works crews and contractors are busy doing the work of maintaining and upgrading our waterworks, bus stops, commencing playground upgrades, roadworks, and sidewalk renewals, etc. Of course, the top of mind issue is COVID-19 and the upcoming tourism season. On the many Zoom calls and emails that Mayor, Council, staff attend each week, COVID-19 takes center stage in many of the conversations. Council has had 2 roundtable sessions with community stakeholders regarding possible concerns during our busy tourism season and how that relates to public health orders. So a little information, just as I throw it in here, since I'm on the subject of COVID-19, from 4 o'clock to 4:50 p.m. today, Mayor Josie Osborne and the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Minister Josie Osborne and Minister Mike Farnsworth, the Public Safety and Solicitor General, just gave a brief outline of how they plan to focus on controlling people moving about the province and leaving their own health areas and health districts, and strong encouragement to stay at home. They will be focusing their enforcement on this on major intersections in the Trans-Canada Highway and the number 3 highway coming into the province from Alberta, and near Hope and close to Chilliwack. And of course, you've heard the restrictions that they're going to be imposing on the ferry system, and they will probably have enforcement at ferry terminals, just doing checks on folks and what they're up to and where they're going, much like you might encounter probably at a passport terminal at an airport or in places like that. So they're being asked to do that there. There were 150 people on the call today from all over the province. I tried to get in on behalf of the town of Lake Cowichan to just let them know that we had the same concerns over here. But given what the message was, they're just going to try and head people off from out of province and out of regions at the busiest parts of the province. And of course, we are a little isolated due to the ferry situation. So that is our checkpoint for the Vancouver Island area. So once again, they are encouraging everybody to stay at home. So we'll just have to see where we are. And they expect that 60% of the population of the province will be vaccinated by the May long weekend. So and in a couple of the calls, a couple of the reports, and Bonnie Henry's report yesterday, that is where we will start to see a decline in transmission when we get up to that level of immunization and immunity. So that's been proven in Great Britain and in a lot of the United States. So where 60% and over the population has been vaccinated. So we can look forward to that. And they sound very optimistic that we'll be there soon. So that's encouraging. I go for my vaccination, first one, on May 5th, and I don't know if I'm getting the same injection as Councillor McGonigal's getting, but you might perhaps be able to track me as well. All right, so the provincial government has done a very good job reaching out and considering all the concerns raised by various municipalities, and our input is evident in the recent orders and guidelines, especially when it comes to travel within health authorities and regions. I would ask the citizens of the Cowichan Lake area and the traveling public to visit provincial health websites and watch social media posts for new information as it is presented. It is up to all of us to know and understand what it's going to take to keep us all safe while we move through the vaccination program quickly, so we can start bending the curve downward on the transmission of COVID-19 and the variants towards a robust immunity situation where we can start to move towards whatever the new normal looks like in our lives. So thank you very much. That is my report. I will forward it to staff for publication on the website. Thank you very much.
Mayor Day?
Yes.
Just a question. In your meetings with the public health. The one thing that I keep hearing from people of concern is that the ferries are being restricted for people coming this way. But can you ask or inquire as to what they're doing about the air travel coming into the island? It's very, very discerning that I think in April, and we were halfway through, that there had been 10 flights that came to the island that did have COVID.
Yeah, that's a great question, and they haven't touched on that very much at all. And I did hear some news on that yesterday. So I'll find the appropriate person tomorrow and see what's up there. And I know there are precautions in every airport, but obviously there's going to be some people that are going to squeak through. So I think that the air traffic will probably be restricted, such as ferries, but I'll find out for sure.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Councillor Austin.
One thing, it was on the news tonight. They interviewed people getting off the planes in Victoria, and they had not been asked why they were traveling or anything. So they haven't been doing what they said they were going to do, but they'll probably start that now that it's gotten on the news. And I think they should.
Yeah. Yeah, and that came across very strong. That's why I didn't get on the list today to speak, but it came across very strong today in the messaging from all the mayors, and especially on the Lower Mainland and all the popular vacation spots and the resort communities as well. So they're still very concerned. Councillor Austin.
Sorry, I had one more thing, and I hope it doesn't cause a problem, but I've had a couple of people talking to me about camping. I don't understand why they're not closing down the campgrounds until May 25th. Though we drove through Gordon Bay the other day. There weren't many there, but there are a few. Our friends that live in Glenora were camping at the river camp last week. If you're telling people not to travel, and I put this to the ministry, if you're telling people not to travel, why are the campgrounds open? Because the way they've worded it, I know I'm not going to travel, but I can go to Tofino if I want then, because I'm in the island health. So I think they need to say something about the campgrounds, and I did put it through to the ministry just as a person, not as a town council or anything. And I haven't gotten an answer back yet.
Yeah, so far it's just out of health region. They're canceling the reservations. And but I can't speak, and that was another question. That what about the private campgrounds and things like that? Are they following through? I mean, it's the government-run ones are easy to monitor, but the other ones not. So, but there was just out of interest too, a lot of commenting about today about how their outreach to Airbnbs and the such, and they managed to reach out to them, and the organizations and the people that run those are wanting to comply as well. So. At the end of the day, I don't think there'll ever be enough enforcement, but you brought up some good points. There are checkpoints where they could possibly do a little bit more, and we'll see where it goes. I myself, we were booked to go to Horn Lake 2 weeks from now, and we're pulling out of that one because that's out of our local area. So Kaikous will be it for us. We'll be socially distanced. I'm looking forward to it actually too. Maybe there's no cell service there. Anyhow, yeah. So don't hesitate to ask questions or shoot me a text or an email if there's any more, because those are great questions, and I can dive a little deeper into getting a hold of some folks perhaps and finding out more about what airlines are doing. And yeah, and I just, as I said in that report, I just want to encourage everybody to do their part and try to understand all the regulations, because I don't think we can say it enough, and I don't think we can put up enough signs to get everybody's attention. But yeah, it's up to all of us, and I mean us and the public as well, to do their best. And let me tell you, I've answered a fair amount of emails from, and I'm sure Councillor McGonigal did last year, and maybe yourselves as councillors has, on what am I going to do about all the people coming to Lake Cowichan. A couple of folks that I could take my response, I just said, well, I guess I could put up a roadblock, but that's not practical, folks. We are all in this together, so I'm pretty sure the visiting public will behave and we'll set the example. So, okay, if there's no more questions, I will be quiet for a moment. and asks if there's any notices of motion, and there was none at the beginning, so last chance. Okay, so now let's move to a question period. We'll pause for 3 minutes after my spiel that will accept any questions on items limited to this agenda to 250-749-6681, or you can email them quickly to general@lakecowichan.ca. And of course, we encourage public participation, so please don't hesitate to call 250-749-6681 or email to general@lakecowichan.ca. See you all at 7:53. All right, 7:53 it is, everybody.
Well,
everybody's here. Okay, Mr. Fernandez, is there anybody on the line with a question?
Not a single one.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much then, everybody. So with that, we can move on to number 14. In camera, Mr. Fernandez.
Yes. The community charter regulates how in-camera meetings can be held. And the requirement is that before a meeting or part of a meeting is to be closed to the public, council must state by resolution why the meeting is being closed. And the basis on which this meeting is to be closed falls under the following. Section 91B of the community charter in recognition of an individual. Section 91C on labor relations or other employee relations. And 91E land matters. And section 91G on law enforcement.
Okay, thank you very much. We will all be expecting, after we move in camera, another Zoom invite. So pay attention to your inbox for that. Thank you very much, Mr. Fernandez. So with that, we'll look for a motion to go in camera. Moved by Councillor Vomaka, second by Councillor Austin. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. See you all shortly. And thank you very much, public, for tuning in with us tonight.